The Oscar nominations are here, so today we're going to rank all 5 of the best animated feature nominees from worst to best. So let's get started. Hey everybody, my name's Justin here. I try to watch everything that hits theaters and on streaming services. If you guys are like me, make sure that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more up and coming content. Leave your ranking down below. How would you rank all 5 of the 2023 best animated feature nominees from worst to best? The nominees include Turning Red, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, The Sea Beast, and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Obviously, the number one pick for me is going to be the one that I think is going to win Best Animated Feature at the Oscars. And we'll kind of talk about some surprises and snubs along the way, so make sure to leave your list down below. Coming in last place is Turning Red. This is easily one of my least favorite Pixar films, and I really don't see this film winning Best Animated Feature when it comes to films like Pinocchio and Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, and even Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. This is an enjoyable Pixar film. It's beautifully animated, much like other Pixar films. There's a lot of metaphors in here, and May turning into this giant red panda and what it represents. I love some of that kind of discussion surrounding all of that, but this movie is very frantic. I think the relationship between May and her mother is there, but it's not fully developed throughout the film to make it feel pretty lackluster at times. Now, there are certainly a lot of relatable moments for people who watch this film, as it touches upon puberty and strained relationships between parents. But the character of May, I really didn't like this character too much. I think the film tries way too hard to be emotional, and the way that the relationship between the mother and the daughter is built up in the character of May and all of the chaotic feels to it, it doesn't quite reach those emotional moments within the film. Coming in fourth place is The Sea Beast. I thought this was an enjoyable Netflix film. It has a great adventure feel to it. It feels a bit like Moana. And I was surprised that this film was even nominated. It's one of my favorite animated films from Netflix this year, but considering other nominees, I was surprised because I knew that Turning Red, Pinocchio, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, and even Puss in Boots would be nominated. So I was very curious what that 5th film would be. I thought of maybe Wendell and Wild, and I was surprised that The Sea Beast was here. But I welcome it because it is a fun film. It has a really big scope to the sea beasts in here. It creates this large feel to it when you have these sea beasts and the way that they are brought forth within the film. And having a better understanding of them, we see these characters change throughout the film. Even the sea beasts, and the characters are able to connect with them. I loved how the sea beasts kind of grew throughout the film. Coming in third place is Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. I know a lot of people that absolutely adore this film and have it as one of their favorite films of the year. I wasn't fully invested in the entire film. The way that it started for me is I thought Marcel was an absolutely adorable character. I loved this little shell with shoes on and the way that it talked and how it kind of had this documentary feel to it, but that could only go on so long for me. So about maybe halfway through the film, I kind of checked out and wasn't as fully invested as I was in the beginning of the film. But there are moments in here that just make you so happy, and the tender, soft moments in here as we kind of touch upon death and family and loved ones. There are a lot of more mature themes within this film. The progression of the character and the story feels all over the place at times. I wish I loved this as much as other people do, but the visuals are beautiful. There is some really soft, beautiful moments within this film. I did enjoy Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, but I think going into it, I had really high expectations because of people's reviews and people just raving about this film, and I just didn't love it as much as other people did. Coming in second place is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. This was a huge surprise. I was looking forward to Puss in Boots, but I didn't expect myself to love it as much as I did. This is a great film. It honestly portrays Puss in Boots as almost a new character. He's on his last life and he is taking his time with a lot of things. The character is reflecting on his past, which we would have not seen in that first Puss in Boots film. The way that they portray this character is more mature than any of the Shrek films and the last Puss in Boots films. The minor characters in here are some of the best in the Shrek franchise. I love the therapy dog in here. There was some adult humor that made me laugh. The visual style in here is new. It's similar to some recent animated films, especially like The Bad Guys, and I absolutely love this style in here. But Puss in Boots, it made me laugh. I felt all of the dramatic scenes, the maturity behind it, the developing story for Puss and him realizing things about his last wish, but all the other characters like Goldilocks and the Three Bears after this last wish as well. And we see those characters realize what they want out of this wishing star, and then we have some deeper moments for them. I was just so surprised with this film, and I'm glad that a lot of people love this film as well and have it in like their top 15 films of this year. It was a huge surprise, and I can't wait to see Puss in Boots back again and possibly a continuation of the Shrek films. But coming in first place is Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. This is probably the most adult animated film within this list. It's not like your typical Pinocchio movie. It's not the Robert Zemeckis Pinocchio movie. It's not the Disney animated Pinocchio film. This touches on really deep themes of death and what it means to be a human and war. There is some graphic scenes within here when it comes to Pinocchio, and some moments that we see the moments of Pinocchio progressing as a character and what it means to be a human and all the sacrifices and all of the hardships along the way. It is perfectly portrayed in here and makes you so emotional. Those moments in here that I almost teared up when it came to Geppetto and his son in the beginning of the film and how he's handling all of that, and at the end with Pinocchio and realizing that he's still alive and everybody else around him is dying. It's heartbreaking to see the animation in here and what Guillermo del Toro was able to do with the film and all of the stop motion animation. It is absolutely beautiful. The voice acting is spot on when it comes to Geppetto. You feel all of those emotional moments. When it comes to Pinocchio, you feel those whimsical moments, but also that development as he becomes more serious about things and understanding what it means to be a human, and Ewan McGregor narrating the film. It's just perfect. I loved Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, one of my favorite films from him, but also one of my favorite animated films of this year. I loved what this film did, and since I am a huge fan of the story of Pinocchio, I welcomed this film and I loved the deeper themes for it and some of the maturity behind it. It's nothing like the other Pinocchio films, and I love that about this film. So there you guys have it, all 5 of the best animated feature nominations ranked worst to best. How would you rank them? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming rankings like this. My name is Just Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.